You know, it's so funny when people talk about addict. And I'm not just saying just a drug addict or an alcohol addict or any type of addict, sex addict or whatever. I don't really know where this would even start or finish or however this is going to happen. I'm actually just recording this on a whim of the situation that happened last night. So just to give you a background, my name is Chantel. I am the daughter of an addict. And I don't really know if there's a community of people that are like me, where we didn't fall into that trap or that circle of life where addicts that produce children become addicts themselves, because I'm not one of them. I wanted to become a successful member of society. I wanted to be the different. I wanted to be the one that wasn't part of the statistics, I guess you can say. And over the course of my life, I have tried to learn as much as I possibly can about what a person becomes, or who a person becomes when they are addicted to drugs or alcohol, and how it affects the relationships with others. And I think that when you look up on the internet and you Google, addicts and families, you think you get a search of parents. Did your son or your daughter become an addict, and how do you cope with this? But when I looked up, daughter of an addict, there was not much that came up, or if anything, it just rerouted itself back to my son's an addict or my daughter's an addict. Like, there's not much of us out there that are productive citizens of society and want to know more about how to heal ourselves, because most of us, or at least I want to say myself at least, I am still hurting. I am still in pain. I'm still mourning, I guess, the loss of the vision or the imaginary mother that I think I have, or I had once upon a time. I still wish and pray, or even if I don't even know if I believe in God, I still hold on to those things, and I still say, why me, or why would it have to happen to me? And other people are like, it makes you stronger, and I get it. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But sometimes I just don't want to be strong. Sometimes I just want to give up. Sometimes that's normal. It's like I don't know, what is that? When you go through the signs of, what is it? When you grieve, you go through different signs. What is the signs when you recover, when you have to deal with an addict as a child and into maturity and into adulthood? How do you cope as an adult when you still hold on to those feelings? And people, they write books about how they heal and how you move on and how you become a better you. But how do you actually move on? How do you actually tell yourself, I'm going to close this chapter on my life that happened to me, and I'm not going to let it affect me, and I'm not going to let it be who I am and determine who I am as a person? Because you know what? I have learned that no matter how many times, and no matter how many times I can count on my hands how much I read about things, or I try to learn, and how much I know that all you do, if you keep enabling an addict, everything doesn't change. No matter how many times you think, maybe if I just help support or keep that person close to you, try to always help that person and all of it, maybe they'll change. If you try to help them more, maybe they'll think of it okay, this person's got me. But at the end of the day, all you're doing is enabling that person. And I understand that. And coming from my point of view, it's hard because I'm a mom of four. I have 3 kids from previous relationship. I have a child with the man that I love, and he has no background, has never been exposed to this kind of life. And it is so difficult for me to be I really don't want to open up to my mom. I really don't want to open up to what the possibilities of our life could be, because I'm just waiting for the next ball to drop, So how do you do that as a daughter, when all you yearn for is a mother's love? anybody has answers, like, that would help me so much. Like, anybody comment or can help me out with healing and any of that, I would appreciate that so much. Like, this is my first episode or my podcast, or I don't even know what this is. I don't know if this is just my ramblings or just some of my thoughts out loud. I do want to get a little bit more organized and everything, but it wasn't planned out. Maybe I'll go more into what happened, or maybe not. I mean, do I want to be that raw? You know, like, I want to know if I should be that raw. Hopefully this audio isn't that bad. I mean, I'm driving and I'm actually talking out this whole podcast, and I'm trying to, like, as you can tell, like, it's very emotional. I work 2 jobs. I work a daytime and I work a part-time job because we're trying to move to the mainland, and I live in Hawaii. And I get a text message from my mom, whom I've taken my daughter out of daycare for, so that way she could watch her, so that way she has a car. So I've given her my van to use. And she tells me my daughter's iPad is lost, 1. 2, my car got towed. I'm freaking out at work because I'm like, I thought you were good. Like, you had this whole streak of being good. And all I could think about is, this is the ball. This is where it dropped. Like, this is exactly where I thought what would happen is what's happening now. Like, I just knew it was going to happen, and I just waited for it. And it saddens me that I have to think like that. Like, when I was younger, when I was in my teenage years, like, I always had this hope that she would get better. Because, you know, you hear these stories about how addicts become recovering addicts and they change because of the love of their children. And, you know, that takes a really strong person, and I'm not doubting that they did change for the love of their children. And it kills me because it makes me question who I am as a person. Like, was I not good enough for her to change? Was I not a good enough daughter for her to change? So it has to make me realize that saying right there, it's not actually the parents themselves are not changing because for the love of their child. They're changing for the love of themselves, for their future relationship with their child. That's what I feel like it should be, because it's not for the love of their child. It's for the love of the future relationship with that child, because it can be salvaged, you know? And it's just so hard because I look at it and I'm 30. I don't even know how old I am. I'm 32, I think. My mom is going to be 55 this year, and it's still the same cycle. So back to what I had to do. I had to get off of work early. I had to go down to the tow company, pick up my van, drive to where she's at. It's pouring rain. She's not in a good part of town. And then it's raining. I grabbed my daughter from her. My daughter is soaking wet. Like, she's covered in her blanket. She's looking at me, telling me that she's freezing. And then I go and I grab her, and I'm like holding back tears because I never wanted her to ever experience this kind of trauma in her life, because I've done everything in my life, going to school and everything, and trying to raise my kids properly, I guess, in a sense, that this kind of situations would never happen with her. But I put my trust in my mom because I thought she was doing better, and it wasn't, you know? And I take her pants off so I can change her diaper, because God knows how long she hasn't had her diaper changed, because when I went to get the van out of the tow, they're telling me that it got towed at 3:47 p.m. And my mom didn't text me until 8:21 p.m. telling me the van got towed, which means my daughter hasn't had a diaper change in who knows what. So I'm thinking worst case scenario, like, she's just been sitting in there for 5 hours. I'm still holding back tears. I take off her pants, and she's wearing like a hospital old folks diaper. And I'm still stinging back my tears. And I'm like freaking out. Thankfully, I have a pair of pants inside of her bag that's inside of our other car. And I put her clothes on, and then I wrap her up because she's freezing. And I'm just like, I put her in her seatbelt, and she goes right to sleep, which is the scenario worked perfectly for her as far as that's concerned, because I could not deal with her going crazy and the situation that's happening. Like, I just started crying, and then my mom is nowhere to be found, so she just splits and MIAs, and I'm like thinking in my head, back when I was younger, like, these are the situations that she would put me in as a child. And I myself just put my baby toddler, who's almost 3, in this situation because I thought she was getting better. And I get it, people relapse, and I hope that whoever's listening to this podcast or whoever's listening to this isn't like, oh my God, you're a bad mom because you put your trust in this. But you know what? Don't judge me, because I'm not saying how I feel for mom shame. I'm saying how I'm feeling, so that way maybe I can open up a new, I don't know, maybe a new community where, you know, children of addicts or recovering addicts can come together and talk about all the experiences and all of the trauma that we've gone through, and for us to reassure each other that what we went through is not normal whatsoever. What we went through is not okay, and it's not a cycle that we should ever repeat, but to heal one another. Like, that's what I want. I want to be able to look on the internet, which we should be able to find knowledge, massive amounts of knowledge at our fingertips at all times because of technology, and find somebody out there that went through the same situation and be able to bond. And that's why I'm going through this, and that's why I'm sharing my story. 1, because I'm emotional right now. 2, because I know there's somebody out there that has gone through the same thing, if not worse than I have, and I've only like touched the surface of one day with my mother. And I guess to end it is, I guess that's just the life that I live, being the daughter of an addict. But well, and I just hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't know what's gonna come of this. Maybe share it. Let me know what you think about it. Or more topics of what you want to talk about, or if you want to go more into depth about what you guys want to hear about. I do want to go into maybe a mini series about what I've gone through in my childhood, and maybe we can relate and become the community that I want to. Maybe I'll be able to actually, like, I guess, record this instead of it being where I sound like I'm not scripted, because I don't want it to be scripted. The minute things are scripted, it becomes unraw to me. And things that are unraw to me, if I feel like you lose that sense of connection that you're talking to somebody. In a podcast, you should never lose that connection. You should always be able to feel like that person in that podcast is right next to you, and you're listening to them, and they're like your best friend, or they're your friend that you can relate to. So that's just how I'm gonna roll. That's how I'm gonna do my podcast from now on. And let me know what you guys think. Have a great day, guys. Bye.